Hello and welcome. We have closed the book on majority of our Marvel films. We've talked about the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've talked about Deadpool. We've talked about Fantastic Four. But we still have one more really important Marvel franchise to talk about, and that's the X-Men series. X-Men originally was released in 2000. And this was our first of our Marvel films that we know today. There have been plenty of Marvel films that have happened in existence throughout the creation of the comics, but none have been taken seriously until this series. X-Men is a lot different in tone compared to the Avenger films that we know. They're similar in style and aesthetic, but there's no humor in any of these whatsoever. It's so serious, this film, and it's just a straight up drama, and it shows the really high stakes of what this has to deal with.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now seeing the beginnings of another stage of human evolution.
The truth is that mutants are very real, and they are among us. We must know who they are, and above all, what they can do.
It's really funny to think about too, because now that we've talked about Deadpool, Deadpool is an X-Men technically, but he's the wild canon. So as we've discussed, he's kind of balls to the walls in his humor and is totally uncensored.
You gave us Wolverine, and for that, I can't forgive you. I've got no problems with Hugh. I mean, he's a delightful guy, he really is. True legend. But the movie, that was a career low for me.
And you have these films that are just legitly super serious and dealing with a lot. And we have a really big cast in this one as well. Hugh Jackman, who is Wolverine, and he's basically one of the biggest X-Men ever. Everyone knows Wolverine. Wolverine has a couple of movies about his story individually. I'm not going to talk about those because there's just about 7 or 8 X-Men films, and these are all still released under 20th Century Fox, so these are not Disney's yet, but they will be. But for now, I wanted to focus on just X-Men, X2, X3, etc. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, who are best friends in real life, and they're so sweet, but they are enemies in this one. We have Professor Xavier and Magneto, who are really important characters. Magneto is supposed to be the villain, but he's more of a sympathetic villain that you can understand and kind of figure out what he wants, because it's all about how the mutants need rights and that they shouldn't be ashamed. And it's very important to talk about. It's a very serious topic because the X-Men comics were made as a reflection of human society, and that humans are against gay rights and civil rights and things that shouldn't be things to be against, and things that are just completely normal. And I really like how they decided to turn this into a comic series, and how they decided to talk about the political issues with people that have powers or blue skin or are different looking and can walk through walls and can do different things like that. It's a really great thing to talk about, and it's really fantastic and super needed, and I'm so grateful to have this film. James Marsden is in this, who we can remember from various Disney films such as Enchanted that we talked about. He's the prince.
I've been dreaming.
Halle Berry, who is also a superstar, is Storm, and she and Jean Grey are fantastic characters. They're wonderful role models, and I really like the aesthetic that Storm is. She has amazing powers, and her actual name, Aurora Monroe, is amazing too. Like, I adore that name so much.
Ah, Logan, I'd like you to meet Aurora Monroe, also called Storm. This is Scott Summers, also called Cyclops. They saved your life.
Anna Paquin's also in this, and this is one of her early films. She's better known now. She did True Blood and played Sookie on True Blood, but she's in this, and she plays Rogue, and it kind of shows the difference between the powers you can get, or the great powers or not so great, because you don't know, it just comes to you, and she has the ability where she can't really touch people without hurting them. So she gets the really short end of the stick, and it's about her journey of trying to figure out what to do and how to control these powers. Same thing with Hugh Jackman, Wolverine. He got turned into a mutant later on, so we figure out his story, but sometimes they get injected, sometimes they're born with it. It kind of varies between mutant and they're just trying to survive in the world. This is a complete drama. It's very serious. There's no jokes and whatever, but everything works really well, and I'm still on the edge of my seat. I feel like every Marvel film is a fantastic film. Their stories are so solid and everything is just so great, but you can definitely tell the difference. I mean, this was in 2000, so this was just a start of trying to bring the superhero genre back into like serious ones, but it definitely kicked off everything, and it definitely has its origins, and we have to be thankful for the origins of it, because without the X-Men series, we may not have the Avenger films that we have today. And that's so important to remember, because they are fantastic and wonderful, and I'm obsessed. And I'm really excited to keep on talking about more X-Men and taking a look, because I used to grow up with these films. I did watch them, but I never got as obsessed with them as I do with the Avengers. So I'm grateful to be able to checking these out. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about X2, the sequel to X-Men. So stay tuned, and as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I'll see you real soon.